So that breaks down if you allow accessory buildings. It breaks down if you allow secondary suites. Well, the secondary suite thing was easily justifiable because we're trying to attract those people. And the kinds of people who rent a basement don't want to stay there forever. They might, but most of them don't. And so that is puts a lid on stuff. When you blow it open without having density transfer, which was built into the community plan. So the transfer receiving areas are currently Snug Cove. So you've got the Snug Cove Village plan. And curiously, Cowan's Point, which could become another wonderful little village and actually have its own direct portal either to Horseshoe Bay or even to Vancouver or to Snug Cove with a little shuttle. We basically, if you leave it open and then you have the unknowns like Crown Land, which, could get, it's not just, that they want to log it or put motorized vehicles. There's a whole tongue above Blue Water, which is dead flat. And you could easily put 100 houses up there or 300 houses. There's plenty of room for that. And they would be very, very desirable southwest facing properties. So if you abandon your community plan, or if you rejig it or gerrymander it, you lose the control. So for the people that are saying we should be revisiting our community plan, no, it should be updated continually. In fact, that should be a continual process. But we've already articulated what our dreams and aspirations are as island community members. What we need to update is the land use bylaw, which hasn't been touched since 2002. And it has all kinds of anomalies in it, including what is an acceptable home occupation. So we have these bizarre things like somebody is running a commercial business fixing vehicles, and because they're only doing one at a time, they can get away with it. And the Lees had to put in $500,000 worth of environmental safeguards in order for them to run their business. So, do you want to build nuclear bombs in your backyard? There's really nothing that tells you can't do that. So we need to address that. And the way that was suggested was it be done on the basis of performance and impact. And decibel meters and the number of complaints, all that kind of stuff are legitimate feedback loops, which will help inform whether it's okay to do something or not. But we have never done that because nobody in council wants to deal with that and start telling people, well, okay, you can do this, but no, we don't want anybody building nuclear reactors in their backyard. So, I'm being facetious only to a point that, yes, we do need to attend to our core documents. We do need to create environmental bylaws. And why we don't have a forest retention bylaw, which I've written it twice and it gets turned down. But we do have a wharf bylaw that tells you how big of a jug of fuel you're allowed to carry onto the dock and pour into your boat. There's an incredible detail on some things and for blindness to others. So, steep slope doesn't exist. We did do a site alteration, but the site alteration, the parameters are pretty liberal. It's a sort of a toothless dragon because it allows for quite a lot of material and quite a lot of change to happen and still fly under the radar.
So where does this take us? What do we want to be when we grow up?
I'll just finish up with one more thing.
Okay.
And that is just the nature of our community. Whether we want to be a residential community primarily, or whether we want more. And Metro Vancouver sees us as much more. They see us as a recreation and area. Day visitors are the mainstay of our tourist industry, and they buy ice cream cones and maybe a coffee when they're on the island. But the other big thing potential as being developed are the institutions. So, the Orchard is hugely successful and plays a very big beneficial role, not just in the community, obviously, but in the region. And we contribute to British Columbia by having a wonderful place that is close but far away, and people come to that. And Lorinda Strang and her husband, then husband Gavin, had amazing vision in thinking that this could work. And it not only has HIT worked, but so has Xenia, so is Rivendell, so is Nectar Yoga. These are instant successes. And we really can have people live here, and we can't accommodate everybody anyway, or we can make it a better place for people to come and stay and then go home. And the people that do live here, the privileged people that live here, which includes a diversity of population, those people get the benefit as well. So, I'd like to wrap up with that is what I would hope. And hope is sort of a blind term. I would say that we should remain vigilant, and we should have a vision that we are actually working towards, of having that diverse, we call it a diverse, inclusive community when that's being eroded. And we work deliberately towards that.
No, it's perfect. I think you've given us lots to think about in terms of what kind of community we are, or what kind of community we want to become. I really want to thank you for taking time to hang out with us and share your views and your experiences on Bowen Island.
I always talk too much.
That's funny. No, seriously, it's great. It was terrific. Hopefully it helps all of us understand a little bit better what's really going on. And there's just so much to talk about, so much to learn.
I would like to talk about some of the very specific issues that are facing Bowen.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any of the candidates who are running are unaware of what all those issues are. They may have different opinions about them. And certainly if you look at the promises made by the candidates in 2018, and I went over and looked at those a couple of days ago, and see what actually happened in the term, you realize that there's always a dialectic that is in operation, and that's the realpolitik. There are always things that come up the works. I think those issues are fairly well understood. I would love to come back. I really wish that there was more opportunity to actually work through some of the issues and to be provided with enough information. So, okay, what are we going to do to make sure that the sewer, that whole debacle is unraveled and that we make good? So the people who are like at Foxglove, who are now unable to build, or the Snug Cove House unable to build, even though they put money into the pipe, that they're told, well, the alternative is we can build a bigger septic field and hook you up to that or something. But those kinds of solutions are desperately needed, and it's not just infrastructure; it's a number of other things.
No, we need more conversations on those things.
Yeah, and probably, maybe a round table, or having, a few people together on that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe a council of elders. Now we're out of politics. We can just tell the politicians what to do.
No, I think it's important, and I'd like to see this series, continue. Maybe not 16 in a month, but maybe one a month.
I would be really pleased to continue.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Peter. That was fun. We've been talking with Peter Frinton, who's a retired local and regional politician on Bowen Island. In this episode, he's been sharing his stories about life on Bowen, offering his perspective of how he got here, and explaining all our different levels of government. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. And if you know someone with a story to share, please have them contact us on social media. The Bowen Island podcast is hosted and produced by me, with a little help from some friends. Sound design by John Massacre and music by the amazing Jason Shaw. You can find links to our guests and all of the podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform. Our gratitude to the Coast Salish nations of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh, on whose traditional territories we're able to do this work. Our thanks to them and to you. Thanks for listening. I'm Don Schaefer.